Simulcast live from Makaku Television Cable Channel 55, Studio B, and 88.5 FM Keaku Radio at Halfway to Hell Plaza in downtown Kahului on the beautiful island of Maui. It's time once more for Keaku Live. And now here's the man who makes it all possible, Shaggy!
Hey, it's Shaggy, and welcome to another edition of Keaku Live, where we find interesting people that are doing interesting things and hopefully don't bore them with our interviews of them. Today's very interesting, folks, is an accomplished singer, songwriter, and all-around glorious diva. Ladies and gentlemen, help welcome to the show today, Miss Nona Brown.
Shaggy, you're too kind.
Oh, God. It's very, very... I guess you can say few and far between that I meet people with such a sweet voice. So, of course, I am going to do everything I can to get you to use it on the show today.
Oh, my God.
Well, let's start off with just a little background. Who the heck is Nona Brown?
Wow. I'll tell you the first thing, I love people. I love people, but if you want to know the most of who I am, I'm a singer, songwriter, musician, newly elected vice president of the San Francisco chapter board of the Recording Academy, known to many as the Grammys.
Whoa. So you're a Grammy person. That means that you get to sit there and tell people, no, I'm sorry, you're not good enough.
Absolutely not. Quite to the contrary. I like to meet people, find out what they do, and give them the good news that, you know what, do you know that you might qualify to be a voting member of the Recording Academy? And that's a pleasure of mine.
Wow. And, you know, the best thing I can tell them is, hey, if you come on my show, I might have some free McDonald's lying around. But, you know, it's a part of the business, I guess. I guess the interesting thing for you, like you said, is being able to meet all of these new people.
Yes.
What category do you vote for in the Grammy, the whole Grammys?
My main category is gospel, because I'm primarily in the gospel community, but I vote in some other categories as well.
Okay, so if I ever came out with a spoken word CD, Joel, we need to write this down. Bribe Nona Brown.
No. Impossible. I like to vote in the areas where I have expertise. I mean, that's only fair. It wouldn't be right to be voting in classical music and I have no experience or expertise in that field. It's not fair to some of the great musicians and writers in that field. So I stay in the field where I have the experience.
Well, let's talk about that experience. You said primarily gospel and religious songs, hymnals. When did you get your start with that?
I got my start when I was 12 years old in church. My parents raised me. We were part of a local church, and this is a true story. My childhood pastor at the time called me up to the front of the church and said he had a dream about me, and I was playing piano. And I looked at him like he was crazy. You know, 12 years old, you're in that age group to where you don't want anybody to embarrass you or call you out. You just want to kind of, you know, fade into the atmosphere. Yeah. And he said he had a dream that I was playing piano, and he believed that God was going to bless me with a gift to play piano. And at the time, I had no interest, couldn't play a lick on the piano. I was playing drums at the time, and don't even know how that happened other than the drummer didn't show up. I had never played drums before, and I just thought, oh, somebody's got to play the drums. And I got on there, and I surprisingly could play.
Wow.
So that's my story. Started getting on the piano on Sunday mornings. I hated it. Can't tell you when it happened, but one Sunday I got interested, and the rest is history.
Oh, and that's been, I guess, a lifelong love affair for you now.
Yes, absolutely.
What is your favorite part? And I mean, everybody has one, but the old gospel songs, what's your favorite part of that?
Favorite part of a song?
A good old one. I'm talking a house rocker.
For me, a house rocker is a song that I can relate to. That really, and if it has a wonderful beat or melody and I can relate, that's just, hey, that's the ultimate right there. But there are some songs that are just happy songs. They make you feel good. They have a good melody, and those are cool too. But when there's a message that I can relate to and an awesome, awesome melody, hey, that tops it all for me.
Well, I mean, you went from, I guess you could say, translating other messages, other singers, songwriters, to now you write your own songs too. When you write, well, would you say your focus is on maybe enlightenment, or is it on feeling? Which would you say is your
great
canvas?
Question. And you know what my answer is? My experience is different every time. I am inspired by anything to write music. Although I say that I'm primarily Christian music, I'm inspired when I walk down the street and see children playing. When I see the innocence of a child, anything can inspire me in that moment. So it's my experience of songwriting is different every single time. It can be initiated by a deep emotional experience, whether that's happy or sad.
Wow.
So that's why the world of songwriting, for me, it's a journey, and I never know where I'm going to end up or where I'm going to start, and it is incredibly exciting.
How long have you been recording?
I've been recording, I would say, well, I can tell you exactly. My very first song was recorded by 4-time Grammy Award winner, who is like a brother to me, and I still tour with, Edwin Hawkins.
Oh, wow.
He wrote the hit, Oh Happy Day. And I ran into Edwin in the Bay Area at a workshop, and he heard a song that I wrote. And he asked me, he said, I want you to submit that to one of my workshops where we go for a week at a city somewhere. At that time, it was Atlanta. And we come together and we listen to music that was submitted and accepted, and we record it. And he accepted one of my songs in 1993, and it was recorded. So that was my very first recording of my work.
Wow.
As a writer.
And, since you've been recording since 1993, I'm, of course, from that generation. Is when I started radio. A lot of the acts that I started following then are now into their gritty reboots. Have you thought about going back and rewriting history and doing something completely different at this stage of your career?
Actually, I have many thoughts. The sky is the limit. There's so many ideas now that I have a little bit of visibility, so many things and dreams that I had as a kid that I'm now going back and revisiting, thinking, that wasn't so crazy after all. So there's some old music that I wrote many years ago that I'm going to be pulling up and representing in a different format. This is very exciting time in my life right now.
And a lot of people would be actually afraid of stepping outside of their comfort, especially somebody that is the head of something like the Grammys community. I mean, you ever get real nervous and when you think about stepping outside of that box, what it's going to mean for people?
My life has been in a place lately that it's just, I've been drug outside of the box. So I kind of live outside of the box now, and I'm learning how to be comfortable with it. I think the best way to overcome your fear is to walk in who you really are as a person. Don't be afraid to be you. Either people accept you or they don't. That's not going to change you. Don't be afraid to be who you are. And I think that's what helps me deal with being nervous. When I get nervous about situations, I'm like, hey, this is just me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not changing. So deal with it.
Oh, God. I got to say, it would be so refreshing if more people had that attitude.
It took me a long time to get here.
Well, don't tell them how long.
Oh, sweetie, no. Never. Never.
But having the mindset that you are now, let's take a look at you now versus you then. Did you ever think back then when you started and you were approached about submitting to a project for the first time of having a 4-time Grammy guy just say, hey, you're pretty good? I mean, that's awesome in itself. You then versus you now, would you have ever seen yourself where you are?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Well, let me rephrase that. There's a part of me that says absolutely not, but way back then there was a part of me that sat at Lake Merritt, which is a local spot in the Oakland Bay Area, and I remember sitting there rehearsing my Grammy acceptance speech. So there was a part of me that always thought that, well, I'm not that person, so I can't do that because I'm not good enough. If I were good enough, I'd be there by now. But I want to say to every artist that has a dream or a goal, just put it in a little box. Keep doing what you're doing. And when it's time, that box will open and you'll walk into your dreams and your visions. So it's twofold. There was a part of me that didn't believe it, but there was a part of me that dreamed it. And I haven't accepted a Grammy as of yet, but guess what? I still rehearse that speech, and one day it will happen.
Wow. A lot of people would say that such faith would be a little, dare I say, foolish. But in the recording industry, and you are really deep into the recording industry, wouldn't you say that having that inner confidence is actually one of the keys of success?
Absolutely. And I have to be honest with you, I didn't always have it. I don't say it because I think that I'm so great. It's just something that I believe in my heart. I don't think it will happen because, oh, you did this, you did that. I believe in my heart it's destined to happen. So if you believe something is destined to happen, you sit back and you chill. And you're still doing what you do, but your overall spirit is like, you know what? When it's my time, it's my time. When the curtain comes up, I walk out.
Wow, just that simple.
Well,
You're like, well, there is the buckets of sweat, but
I've got 35 years of hustling and pushing. And I know many people that are watching this show right now, they're like, I never heard of her. I don't know who she is. You know, she's talking about the industry. She's talking about being a part of the Grammys. We don't know you. Stay tuned.
Oh, now see, that's something too. Like, over here in Hawaii, we are very blissfully ignorant of a lot of the machinations of the recording industry in the mainland. And you having your career, and especially in, dare I say, one of the harder niche musical formats out there, breaking into any Christian format is incredibly difficult.
It is.
Anybody can churn a pop hit.
It's very true. I have not been afraid to be Nona and to do things the way Nona feels it. And one day, even though it may not fit into a current format, how Nona does it is going to be acceptable. And even if it never is, I'm totally comfortable doing what I do, making music that hopefully changes lives, that makes somebody smile because they hear a melody, that makes them feel supported. That's really what makes me happy. I believe all the other things will come, so I'm enjoying my journey. I don't know how else to say it.
This is great because most artists do not have such altruistic values. They write primarily for themselves.
Yeah.
Would you say that, there is a little part of you that likes to write stuff to make yourself feel happy? Or
Absolutely. Absolutely. I listen to some music that I wrote 30 years ago, and I listen to music now, and I know exactly where I was, and I can hear the progression in my life. I can hear the growth. I can hear some songs where I was just pitiful and tore up and mad at the world. And then I hear myself evolving into this person that's totally comfortable and wants to share that love and peace with others. And it's amazing to me because I haven't always been where I am.
I know. Isn't that something hard, though? Because most people, when they go through trials and tribulations, they add those up to the negative cart that they drag around with them.
Right.
And then one day they just unload it on somebody
Right.
when that negativity comes too much. How is it that you're able to go through a very, very competitive marketplace in a very, very demanding field, being an entertainer, and still maintain this, dare I say, sober and comforting thought of everything's okay in the end?
It's an inner peace that lives within inside me that allows me to be, like I said, okay with myself. And my situation in life, I've had many struggles. We don't even have time to talk about some of the things I've endured and overcome, but it has been those struggles that caused me to say, people need help. I remember how devastated I was and how I was walking around smiling at people, but I was so sad and I was so unsure of whether I even wanted to live. People would
Yikes.
find that very surprising. So my experience, my pain in life, I have chosen to take those experiences and use my music to how can I be a lifeline to others that may not have had the inner peace that I had, to pull me up and out of that, to say life is truly a gift. Life is a gift. It may not be what you want at the time, but we're here on this earth for a time and a season, and it really is precious. And if my music can get to someone, to get them through until they can see the light of day, I will feel like my whole mission has been worth it.
Wow. And I mean, you mentioned devastations. Usually, somebody that goes through something very devastating is very, very supportive. Would you say, what would you say was one of the biggest devastations that you faced?
There have been many, but I can just talk about what is most recent, and that is...
Please do not say this show.
Oh my God. I was about to go deep and you just made me crack up. This show has changed my life. This DJ, oh my God. Is that what you wanted to hear?
No. But seriously.
On a serious note, most recently, 7 months ago, I lost my sister, my blood sister and best friend, to a short battle with cancer. And it was absolutely devastating. And part of the reasons why I'm here in Hawaii is to help me heal. That's been very devastating, but through my pain with that, I look into the eyes of others and I can see pain. And it makes me want to write music that is going to help them through that season. And even the music that I write during this time is helping me. So I feel like I'm sharing with others with what I'm going through right now. And I believe life, we need to talk about what we feel, you know, in light of what happened with Robin Williams. Heartbreaking, because here's someone who made us all feel good and laugh. And he felt horrible on the inside. And I think I'm in such a wonderful position to be the driver of a vehicle that can possibly bring some joy, healing, and hope to one's life. And to allow people to say, hey, you look at me and you think that I'm successful and I have experienced success, but I'm with you. I'm going through pain and heartache too. And we can overcome this together.
Wow. You know, like I said, it's amazing to me, especially because here in America, the picture that we paint of famous people is always of a tortured artist. But through your life story, I guess the biggest lesson that you're trying to say right now to all of us, and I'll sum it up for people that have my intelligence, is it's okay to be yourself, and nothing is wrong with that. And
absolutely.
When you put yourself out there in front of others, guys like Robin Williams, entertainers like that, they always had this thing where you felt like they left a little bit of themselves on stage each time. Do you feel ever like when you're performing like, wow, I've hit a pinnacle that I'm not going to come back to? Because that's something that will sabotage an artist's life.
That's a really interesting question. I look at it this way. If I step out onto a stage, and this happened to me recently, I felt myself getting so choked up over a song that I performed. And I give a little bit of myself to the people. I give a moment of vulnerability. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I don't step off the stage and go, oh, I shouldn't have opened myself up like that. I think it's important because, again, I don't mean to be redundant, but when people look up at artists who are in the forefront, they think they don't have a problem, they don't have a struggle. If I had her life, but in that one moment of my vulnerability, if I was able to connect with someone, to make someone feel like somebody's with me, it was worth it. It's worth it.
You know, did you have anything that did that for you in those times? I mean, was there an artist that you listened to? It's just like, yeah, they get it.
There are many artists. There are many artists that there's certain songs that I can feel that, you know, most artists don't write all of their songs. So an artist can paint the picture. I always look on that album cover to CD cover, whatever the heck you call it now.
Yeah.
To see who wrote that song, because I always listen to the lyrics and I'm moved by whatever mood they're in at that moment. Sometimes it is the artist. And when I can really connect with somebody, even when it's something happy, you know, I don't just connect with sad things. There's happy things like Pharrell and his song Happy.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. You know, and he wrote that song. I love it. I love it. It's great. He connected with me because I'm going through a lot of happy times in my life right now.
Yeah, it's odd because the general tone of the recording industry now, lyrically speaking, is seeming to go more and more into the negative direction.
It's true.
Do you think that we'll ever have a return to some sort of positivity in our music and entertainment in this country?
I hope to be the face of the beginning of the return of positive music, of hopeful music. You know, it's don't get me wrong, the industry is very difficult. It's very difficult. You have to produce numbers. They want you to produce a certain sound. And I think a part of the industry, they are lacking integrity. There's a lot of areas that lack integrity and just sometimes good music. They are in the business to make money, and whatever is making money is what they tend to go with. But I do believe with all my heart that we're going to see a return of good, positive music, and I hope to be the person that helps break that barrier and to bring that return back into the industry.
Who would you say, just, opinion question, and I know that your opinion has official weight, so I'll be careful how I word this question. Who would you say out there right now in the musical realm, all formats are open for your consideration, is one of the most positively voiced artists today?
That is a hard question. This interview was going great.
Joel, I screwed it up.
It was going great. I hate to call names because there are so many people, but I have to call the name of an artist that a lot of people may not even know that I really love her message and her come across, and that's India Ari. Her music is so positive. It's like real life music. There are many other artists that as soon as I walk out of this studio, I'm going to go, oh my God, I didn't call that name. But that's just one that comes to mind. There are many artists that are out there right now that are doing it well. They're just escaping me at the moment.
And it's funny to me, though. You mentioned India Ari, and yes, she is a person that is a writer of life experience type music. She is against the trend in modern music, which seems to be a lot more superficial. What's it going to take to get us from going from the superficial world back to connecting to singer-songwriters again?
Again, difficult question, but for me is just having the courage to maintain my integrity. And I just believe in the end that's going to stand.
Wow. And this is the great thing. The more I listen to you, the more I'm going, we're not going to bribe Nona Brown. We're going to elect her president next year.
Oh, my God.
As a matter of fact, put that down. Nona Brown, 2016. Okay, we're going to do this. But it's so refreshing to see somebody that's still in the musical industry that is just, dare I say it, a vile machine. And it does terrible things. And you're still there and you're still happy. And this is a positive message that you want to send to other people as well.
And I'm hoping to affect everybody that comes into my presence. Because we got to get this ball rolling. We got to get love and peace and harmony and community back into our world.
Here's the thing that somebody is going to ask. I'm going to have to ask it because it's my show, but somebody is going to ask us this, and we're going to have to answer it eventually. Why does this matter?
Because people matter. I have a love in my heart that I cannot explain for people. And people matter. People are important.
But we're in, like I said, a society where you don't matter. And if you do matter, you have a reality show about it or a public access talk show. But I'm hoping I matter. Trust me.
You matter right now while I'm here on your show, being viewed by millions of people.
I matter, Joe. But at the end of the day, what would you say to a young aspiring artist coming up in this field? What really matters to them?
What really matters goes back to what I said, maintaining your integrity. And don't be afraid to be you, because if you start changing based on what the trend is, based on what you think people's expectations are, because most people don't know who the heck they are themselves, and they're trying to tell you, you need to do this, you need to go there. At the end of the day, when you are happy with you and being you, that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
So it doesn't come down to how successful you are, how popular you are, how people look at you. It's just being happy with you.
Success is wonderful, but it has been proven in many instances. I hate to keep referring to Robin Williams, that success is not inner happiness. At the end of the day, being happy. Do I want a Grammy? Absolutely. Do I want other awards? Absolutely. But am I going to let my life depend on that and not be happy and not be Nona if I don't get it? No. At the end of the day, if that does not happen, I'm going to maintain my integrity and be happy with me.
Well, you know, that's a good thing, because at the end of the day, if all that stuff doesn't happen, I eat a bowl of ice cream and watch reruns. Kind of cry
I'm with
myself
you on
to
that
sleep.
one. Haagen-Dazs?
Oh, what's your favorite?
I'm a little boring with ice cream. I really like the vanilla.
Vanilla.
I'm sorry.
No.
Strawberry too. That's, a little bit more
Ooh,
exciting.
Yeah, but no. See, the cool thing about
Presidential cream.
vanilla in this culture, we always refer to it as bland. But the vanilla itself,
It's
the bean,
classic.
yes,
Classic.
it takes 7 years to cultivate that.
Come on, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You know, and it's funny, because just like with music, some things are deceptively plain and deceptively refreshing. And I want to talk, before we get so far off into weird intangible stuff that I don't concentrate on you.
No, concentrate on me. I'm on your show.
I know, Joel, I messed up again. We don't
Come
have
a
a
long way.
future. But it would be so nice to just hear a little bit about what you're doing right now as far as your own stuff. Like I said, we know you are the lady when it comes to the recording industry, to everything as far as helping young artists. But when it comes to your own stuff, your own projects, what is the one right now that you're just like, I'm really excited about this?
There's a lot of them.
Do you ever do just one thing at a time?
No, I don't. My team right now has a hard time keeping up with me. When you non-musical or musical or
Wow, there's more than one.
Yeah.
You are multifaceted
Oh,
here.
God, I'm blushing.
Let's go with the musical first, because
Okay.
we're here about music. So.
Okay, so one of the projects that I am incredibly excited about is a new release that is out in iTunes right now. Came out August 1st, and the title is called Talk to God by Nona Brown, yours truly, and Rupam Surma. Rupam is from India.
Wow.
And this whole idea of the song of Talk to God came from a conversation during Grammy Week this year.
So you guys were just sitting around doing Grammy things, and it's like, let's write a song between two people in different countries.
Sort of. We had spoken. He's a San Francisco chapter member.
Oh, okay.
Voting member. And we had seen each other at a couple events, and he said, I want to do some work with you. I have an idea. And we just couldn't get our schedules to match. And so during Grammy Week, we ended up at the same event one evening. And he was like, hey, I was like, hey, let's talk right now. And we pulled ourselves away, and he says, I want to do a gospel song. I want to bring together the two cultures. And so I'm, kind of smiling and nodding at him, and I'm going, that would really be different. I don't know how that's going to work. That's kind of weird,
Yeah.
And so the more he started talking, the more interested I became. And I thought, you know what? Yes, let's do this. And then he drops a bomb on me. Well, I'm leaving to go to India, and I want to record the music there, so write something.
Okay.
Okay.
Give me a pen and a napkin. I got this one.
Okay. And so I kind of thought it was funny, but then it became a challenge for me. And anyone that knows me, Nona Brown likes a challenge.
Oh.
I love a challenge.
Do you think it was deliberate what he did?
No, I don't, because he's so sweet and, innocent. And
But Indian people, very cunning, very intelligent.
sorry, Rupam. That wasn't me that said that.
Hey, I know this. The IT field in the modern civilization, you don't know this, more graduates come out of the universities of India for
believe it,
computer work
actually.
than any other country out there.
I believe it.
Very savvy people. So he goes and says, write this song. Oh, by the way, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
And takes off. Now, besides just going, hey.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to actually put pen to paper and say, this is the one?
You know what the funny thing is? So before we left that evening, he's like, we come up with an idea. We want to bring together, the whole idea was this, to bring together, to merge these two sounds with one message in mind. And it's basically bringing people, cultures together. So we're like, okay, we're bringing them together for what? We're merging this sound. Incidentally, I had a title to a song that I had been carrying around in my mind for months. And the title was Talk to God. And so it was in that moment we were talking. He was like, yeah, we want to bring everybody together. And I said, hey, wait a minute. I have a title of a song that I haven't even started on. And he says, what is it? I said, Talk to God. And he goes, yes, that's it. Let's do it. Let's bring people of all around the world together. Let's break down this barrier of religion, how people look at God, and let people know that God is here for everybody. You have a right to talk to him. You don't have to be religious. You don't have to go to church. You don't have to look a certain way. He's here for everybody. And that's how Talk to God came together.
God, because for a while there I was Catholic and they convinced me there's some sort of toll booth about this. So thanks for coming on my show and clearing this up.
I came all the way to tell you that even Shaggy can talk to God.
Yeah, I usually get the answering machine, but I digress.
Keep calling, baby. Keep calling.
Now, somebody who comes from India, let's just reflect on that music from India. Mm-hmm. And people here in America very foolishly call it the Bollywood sound.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's funny. We talked about that today.
Yeah, I think the official is the Punjabi. It's something like that.
Don't ask me because I don't know.
Usually I am very intelligent on these shows, but today we are what we are. But this music, this music that they make there in India, gorgeous music.
Yes.
I mean, just notes, textures, complexity, but very hard when you think of how you're going to pair that with a Western style delivery. This seems like a daunting task. Do you think it is when you went to go do this, or were you just like, oh, it's a song, we can do this?
It was really a journey. And there's an amazing ending to the journey, and that's the song. Well, I guess it's not the ending because we're really just getting started by putting the song out there. I did my part. I sent him an MP3 file. The song, all of the music, and there's over 20 instruments used, was recorded live in India. So he recorded all. I sent him the track. He did his thing, composed his part, recorded all the music live in India, and he brings it back here. He currently lives in the Bay Area, in Sacramento. So he's back and forth between India. He brings it to me, brings it back. I listen to it, and I almost fall off the chair. I could not believe it. It sounds like a motion movie track.
Wow.
Incredible. The lyrics and everything merged into what you hear really are two different cultures and styles merging together. And it's very different.
And I know it's always hard when you ask the artist this, but would you consider this one of the most important tracks you've ever worked on?
I say yes to this one because I have to even say I still have a little bit of apprehension about the song because it doesn't really fit into any current format. I probably shouldn't say that as an artist, but that almost can be a drawing card for people to listen to because it's like, hey, this is different. This is wild in a good way. This is great. So it was really an experience. And it's an amazing song. Hopefully you'll hear it soon.
Oh, yeah. We have iTunes here. That's one of the few things that we can afford.
So glad to hear you're doing well with your show.
This show is possibly the most successful show ever.
I actually know because I Googled you before I showed up today.
See, there you go.
You're everywhere. Shaggy's everywhere.
Oh, God. But I'd imagine you're pretty much everywhere with the Grammys. And when we come back, I actually want to talk about stuff that maybe an aspiring artist would need to know about that. Is that okay?
I'd love to.
All right. Well, for everybody else, we'll be back in just a sec. You're watching on Channel 55, listening on 88.5 FM. Pretty sure that's both places. Coming up, we've got a fresh new How Dumb is America segment, and we'll be back in just a sec with more of the very lovely, sweet Nona Brown here on Keaku Live.
The Hawaii Red Cross shelter at the Pahoa Community Center on Hawaii Island remains open to support those impacted by Tropical Cyclone Iselle. Residents at the shelter are being provided with meals, a cot to sleep on, and will also be able to take a shower and charge their phones. Last night, there were 21 overnight stays at the shelter. Representatives with the organization say Since last week, Thursday, August 7th, there have been more than 2,200 overnight stays at 32 Red Cross shelters statewide. Big Island Red Cross caseworkers have also started visiting the hardest hit areas to provide referrals, guidance, or additional assistance as needed to help with the recovery process. The County of Maui is proposing the construction of an extension to Waiale Road in central Maui. The road currently ends at East Waiko Road, but the extension would add 8,600 feet to that road, taking it further south to the Honoapi'ilani Highway. The extension of Waiale Road was identified by the county as a long-range strategy to improve traffic flow from within and around Waikupu, and also to provide an alternate route between Kahului and Wailuku. State and county Maui offices, along with public schools, will all be closed tomorrow in observance of Statehood Day. There will also be no residential refuse collection, and all county landfills will be closed, as well as all public libraries. The Makawao Public Library, incidentally, will be closed Saturday. With the defense and prosecution negotiating a plea agreement reducing felony sexual assault and kidnapping charges, a man was placed on 1 year's probation yesterday for assaulting a woman last year. 48-year-old Philip Robinault was given credit for 6 months he had already spent in jail following his arrest December 18th after the woman reported being bound and raped by Robinault over a 2-week period. Originally charged with 7 counts of first-degree sexual assault and kidnapping, Robinault had pleaded no contest to 2 counts of third-degree assault and second-degree unlawful imprisonment. 3 misdemeanor charges were reduced from the original felony counts. First Deputy Prosecuting Attorney Robert Rivera said the prosecution acted on behalf of the victim in deciding to resolve this case. He also said that some of the allegations the woman raised could not be proved. The Kula Forest Reserve remains closed in the wake of Storm System Iselle last week, with the damage being assessed and downed trees being cleared, according to the Department of Land and Natural Resources. The removal and clearing of downed trees from the interior roads in the reserve is expected to take up to several weeks. All other state-managed forest, land, and state parks in Maui County are open. Free child car seat and booster seat inspections will be done from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. this Saturday. That's in the parking lot of the Maui Marketplace near Pier 1 on Dairy Road in Kahului. Those interested in having child car seats checked to see whether they're properly installed should show up with the child, the car seat or the booster seat, and the vehicle. The inspections are done on a first-come, first-served basis and will take up to at least 30 minutes. State law does provide that children from infant to 7 years old are required to be restrained in either car seats or booster seats while riding in vehicles. Maui weather, mostly clear skies ahead, and that's expected for the next few days, with highs today near 90 and lows in the lower 70s. Northeasterly winds currently blowing at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And that is your Akaku News Break. I'm Chivo Cheng Johnson.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up?
Oh, we finally bought a place.
Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Was it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Hey, it's Shaggy, and welcome back to the segment on this show where I get to stand up and show you exactly how short I am. But despite all my personal shortness, it's great to be back today and celebrate a rather tall order of America's crazy obsession with being dumb. Now first, maybe it's about time to define our favorite term in all ways possible. The first definition of the word dumb in Merriam-Webster's dictionary is lacking the human ability to speak. The second is temporarily unable to speak, as in struck dumb. Next is stupid or lacking intelligence. Now, for our purpose, I think this definition
fits our uses. Quick question. Since we're talking about smart versus dumb here, why do they call them smartphones when all they do is make you feel so dumb? I just want to check my messages. Damn you, Siri! Let's try some examples of these, shall we? For instance, today, let's use the word dumb in a context, in a sentence, about the state of not being. Okay? As in, it was a dumb idea in the first place. Now, this sentence could be used to describe something like Town Marshal David Keith Hathaway from Millersburg, Indiana. He's been charged with 2 counts of conversion. More on that in a sec. That's a Class A misdemeanor. After allegedly taking panties belonging to his son's girlfriend, who lives in his house? The victim told the Indiana State Police she first suspected something was going on in October 2013 when she found a pair of her panties in a gallon-sized bag along with several other pairs of female underwear. Now, the bag with the, purloined panties were hidden in a safe belonging to Hathaway. That's the guy, the dad. Now, both the victim and her boyfriend, which would be the son, confronted the suspect about his panty collection, and he told him it was a joke. Who jokes like this, by the way? Oh, look, I've stolen your undies. How cheeky I am. Anyway, after the victim found another pair of her panties wet and crumbled under her bed, she and her boyfriend set up a hidden camera in the room and were completely shocked by what they saw when they reviewed the video. Now, according to the affidavit, the video showed Hathaway entering her bedroom, picking up a pair of underwear she had left on the floor, holding the panties up to his nose and inhaling deeply. He then allegedly put them back on the ground, grabbed another pair, and left the room. Hey, who knows? Maybe he was just making sure she had a clean pair. A detective on the case stated that Hathaway admitted that he does have a problem, namely a panty fetish, for which he is seeking help. I can only imagine what rehab would be like. Now, Hathaway also allegedly admitted to having the victim's panties in a safe with several other pairs. A safe? He's also been charged with 2 counts of criminal conversion. Now, this is the type of crime where basically you're exerting unauthorized control over property of another person. It's a Class A misdemeanor, punishable by 1 year in jail and a fine up to $5,000. That's according to a release from the Elkhart County prosecutor, where Hathaway is currently facing charges. Look, seriously, I could go into more definitions of how things are dumb in America, but whenever you have police on the force with admitted panty fetishes, that's pretty dumb. And you'll only find it here in America.
Hey, welcome back. You heard that from Joe. You're on Keaku Live here at 88.5 and Channel 55. Now, for some strange reason, during the break, I started thinking about the name Nona Brown, my guest today, and I started whistling Sweet Georgia Brown in my head.
Oh, Lord.
Because we were talking about happy songs, right? And to me, that is one of the happiest songs that I keep in my head.
Shaggy, I'm not Sweet Georgia. I'm Sweet Nona.
But such, it's so funny how when we were talking before the break, that songs can get in your head and actually change the way you feel about the world. They can make you happy. They can expose you to new cultures, like you're doing with your song Talk to God.
Yes.
So for people now, and this is I guess you could say the public service part of my show, for people now that might be out there with their instruments in hand or thinking about picking up one and going, how do I make this recording artist thing the best type of career choice possible? We'll go ahead and preface this by saying not everybody gets in. It's a hard industry.
Yes.
But what would you say, first and foremost, the keys to success as far as being a good and accepted artist in the musical community?
The young people now are so fortunate because you can Google anything. When I was coming up and learning, it was by trial and error. People don't share information. That's the one thing that I promise to all the people that I come in contact with. I don't know everything, but I will willingly share what I do know. So I think one of the things I would say to the young up-and-coming artist is Google find out about credits. If you're going to be working on people's projects, whether it's in a capacity of a musician, a backup singer, make sure you get your credit. Make sure. A lot of times I wouldn't sing for money. I was like, hey, what are you going to do with this project? Will you give me credit? Will you have Nona Brown backup vocalist on there? So make sure when you're doing projects and you're helping friends out and you're singing or playing on projects, get the credits, because trust me, down the line, when you go to allmusic.com or when the Grammys try to verify your credits, you will have something there. Find out what affiliations and associations are in your area. Networking. Go be around people that do what you are doing or what you want to do or what you aspire to do. Networking, I believe, is a big part of why I sit in the seat of vice president of the San Francisco chapter of the Recording Academy.
Wow.
Meeting people. I said hello to the right person. They wanted to know more about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, in our society now, and I don't have my phone in here, but I could show you what a conversation looks like.
You're absolutely right.
Networking isn't something that's...
Or in my case, it's like this. I hope... I know I'm busting myself out.
Okay, yeah, I do it too. Don't worry. There's sometimes that I curse that little thing like Siri, but that has become the networking that people know. But FaceTime networking, like not FaceTime the app. Let's get off the phones again.
I was like, oh wow, that's not cool. But
No, like actual time with an actual face.
Yes.
That is the cornerstone to networking, right?
Both of them. You got to work them in tandem.
Really?
Yes. Get on Facebook. Hey, I'm Shaggy. I got a show. Listen to me. And then go to where you can actually have real life FaceTime without a phone or computer. Talk to people. Find out. Don't be afraid to walk up to them and say, hey, what are you doing? Well, I'm a guitar player. I'm inspired to do this. You never, ever know who you're really talking to.
Oh.
Most of the times, the higher up, this has been my experience, not every experience, but the higher up a person is generally is how they're even more laid back. The people that are always talking about, oh, yeah, man, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. No, keep it moving. Keep it moving. But I have found, you can be in a room talking to the vice president. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, it's so funny because in that context, Kanye West is probably the most unsuccessful man in music today.
You're right.
Well,
You're right.
But the networking, that helps establish these relationships. Now, those relationships, what type of relationships as a recording artist are you thinking these are the ones that are important? Because a lot of times, dare I say it, you get caught up in the being popular thing, so you think that you have to cater to this developing entourage.
It's very true. Watch people. Find out what they do. Google them. And then go up to them and talk to them. See how you feel when you talk to them. Because there's even people on my level that I go up and I introduce myself. I don't say, hey, I'm the vice president. I say what my mama named me. Hi, I'm Nona. How are you? I don't, we evolve into that. If you ask me what I do, I'll tell you. But see how you feel. Sometimes people in the first 30 seconds will let you know if this conversation should go or if this conversation should go.
Have you ever had one of those, hi, I'm Nona, and goodbye?
Yeah. Actually, like I said, I love people and I care about people. How people feel is very important to me, and how I treat you is very important to me. But there have been times where I talk to people and in the first 3 seconds I want to run, but this doesn't show that. I will talk to them as long as I can, and then if I can't get out, I'll say, oh, you know what? Oh, I'm coming. I'll just create a situation where I can get out and not hurt their feelings. Hey, I'll be right there. Hold on. There's nobody there. Hopefully they don't turn around.
Yeah, look, there's Elvis. Some of those wouldn't work. The funny thing, pterodactyl.
Right.
I mean, at some point though, there's got to come. Even in your life, being the sunny, happy person that is, that you just want to, through your smile, go, wow, nobody really wants to talk to you if this is how you treat others.
There have been times to where my face falls, meaning that my smile, everything is like, for real?
For real?
Really, really. And, I have situations, I'm human. I get angry, so forth, all of that. People get on my nerves or whatever. I try really hard to treat people well, but there are times to where I have to tell people, I have to have the coming to Jesus with people. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Yeah, we used to have that word of prayer with them
There you go.
outside,
Yeah, I tell them how I feel, and then if they want prayer, I pray for them.
But a lot of people would say, well, that's rather snarky. But seriously, if you think about it, the type of thing that you're saying is you wish them well, you point them in the right direction and wish them well.
Yeah,
and
you do.
There's no malice in that.
No, not at all.
Do you think we have a lot of malice in our society when it comes to dealing with our relationships these days?
We really do, because people carry so much baggage. So much baggage. And I'm not judging anybody, because, we look at people acting out. We look at teens that get into trouble. We look at adults that have substance abuse problems. Don't judge them. Don't judge them. You have no idea how they got from here over to here. So, I do the best I can with people. You don't really know. I think sometimes in our society, everybody's got their own issues, carrying around their own bags, got their own problems. Nobody wants to have any real FaceTime with people. I don't really know what happened to you or what your background is or what you came from if I don't take time to talk to you.
Yeah. And we were just talking about how young artists in the industries, these kind of things are essential. And dare I say it, if you're out there having real life experiences, is it safe to say that your songs are going to reflect a real life message?
Most of the time, yeah.
And it's easier to write from experience versus inexperience.
For me personally, I can say yes, but I have encountered people that are just gifted. And that can, when you have a gift to write a song, you can write a song. I take that back. I actually can step into a role to write a song.
Wow.
It doesn't have to be my experience.
So you come outside of your own character and you create another character.
I did it recently for a stage play.
Oh, so kind of like Beyonce Sasha Fierce.
I would love to be on that level. Yes, absolutely. It's just like it.
All right. So Nona Fierce, what does she do?
I love it. I love it.
What is this role that you stepped out to write on?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, well, Shaggy, I wasn't going to say anything, but now that you brought it up.
There was a situation, the name of the song, I'm just going to say it. The name of the song is Tell the Truth.
Ooh.
And the song deals with a person who is living a double life. They don't want to reveal that they're gay. And there's a moment in the play that they have a moment to where they start singing this song that says, tell the truth. And so in my situation, I stepped out and got into that and wrote from the perspective of how hard must that be for someone who has lived their life, their entire life, according to how other people see them and how other people want them to live. And they never can step into their own truth. So in that instance, I stepped out of who I am as a woman and stepped into that role and related to how must that feel.
Wow. And the great thing about this, because, of course, we're trying to help out aspiring musicians,
right.
is these little creative exercises not only help you be a better musician, but can we go ahead and push it a little further? At the end of the day, you're going to be a little bit better person when you explore new themes you're not comfortable with.
I am experienced that in my life with many things. And I think it's wonderful. I think it's a way to connect with people. So when we listen to people and hear them and accept them for who they are and not just make everything black and white, right or wrong, because your wrong might be very right to somebody else in their life.
Trust me, I tried something the other day that is so wrong on so many levels. It's called poutine. Poutine. Have you ever tried it?
I'm a little afraid to respond.
It's French fries covered in gravy and cheese curds.
Lord help us.
Oh, It just sounds so wrong on so
really
many
does.
levels.
But it was right.
So right.
I might join you in a little punti.
I'm telling you. As a matter of fact, the next time that you're heading through the Midwest, right? This is a Canadian dish. So if you're up near the border, just jump over. I think it's P-O-T-I-N-E. Poutine.
Poutine.
Very good stuff. But had I not stepped outside of my comfort zone,
I love it.
I would have never known that gravy, cheese, and fries go together.
I actually heard you guys talk about poutine a little while ago, and I just started messing with my phone because I didn't know what it was. I felt like I shouldn't be in the conversation.
Well, I'll have you know that the most dirty thing that we do on this show
is poutine.
Is food pornography. That's it. We show pictures of food, and that's it. You know?
I'm going to teach you how to talk to God about that.
Oh, I'm telling you, he'll probably be like, "You like those fries and gravy?
I made that poutine.
That was my doing."
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
I tell you, something about that dish, though. I mean, as far as we were talking about earlier, accepting cultures and everything, I just want to go to Canada and be like, "God bless Canada." Oh, God. Ugh. You know?
Oh, my goodness. What are we going to do with you, Shaggy?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe give me a Grammy someday.
I got to get my own first, okay?
Okay. No, I got to say, though, I thank you so much for making time out of your vacation. You're
pulling me from the beach.
Having
to put on clothes that look like I'm dressed up, but I really have on flip-flops and a T-shirt.
Well, this is the great thing is because now all of your friends in the mainland are going to see this, and they're going to go like, man, that Maui's a classy place. It's like, as soon as I walked out there, nobody got shoes.
Right. That's right.
The fact that I wear shoes to work is years of conditioning.
I believe you. No, the pleasure is all mine, Shaggy. It's all mine.
But if somebody would like to follow up, especially find the song Talk to God and some of your other projects, how could we find more of Nona Brown?
NonaBrown.org.
Oh, that's easy. NonaBrown.org.
Google
N-O-N-A.
me. N-O-N-A. Brown.org.
You're like,
I'm thinking.
Should I spell Brown?
My manager, I can hear my manager in my mind. Say this, say that, say this, say that.
Oh,
but I can only think of NonaBrown.org. But the song Talk to God is available on iTunes and at all the other online outlets.
Oh, man. Well, next time you're on Maui, we invite you to come back. And as a matter of fact, Joel, let's write this down. Yeah. The next time that you're in town, we're going to have some poutine.
Oh, my God. I feel like I'm going to sin in advance. Forgive me, God, for I will punt when I come back to Maui.
Yes! Yes, French fries, gravy, and cheese it is. Well, for everybody else, that's the show for today. Hope you enjoyed it. And seriously, check out more of the great music and great message of Nona Brown at your own discretion. It is the weekend, though, so quick reminder, don't do anything that I would because legally... well, it'll get you in trouble. Until next week, got to thank Joel on the controls, the whole staff here at Akaku for making this possible. Somewhat. And, well, for the rest of you for tuning in, because you're what really makes the show possible. Until next week, love you, mean it. Kate and bye. We're out.